The latest team involved in this scandal, Isaiah Rodgers, is the latest player caught in violation, investigated for placing hundreds of wagers and even bet, apparently, allegedly, on Colts games. I mean, look, whether it's a notable player or not, it's just another horrible look for the NFL. And, this, we dealt with this last year, right? With Ridley, who, obviously wanted to make amends with these transgressions. But the NFL has put themselves in this position because every time you turn around, whether it's pre, post, halftime, any weekly spot, it's, picks, whatever it is, it's always brought to you by X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, does this surprise you at all? And what measure do you think the NFL is going to take now regarding Rodgers?
Yeah, he's another player where they're going to talk to him, and unfortunately, Q, you and I talked about this a while ago in terms of when gambling came to the NFL. It was always the league's dirty secret, and people always had their bookie and all that. Now there's Pandora's box open. To me, I think the best thing that the owner should do is, rather than having these rules like guys can't gamble when they're in the locker room or on a team facility, just don't allow them to gamble at all. You know what I mean? It's just.
But how do you monitor that? I mean, they can have
Exactly.
buddies that open accounts and give them money.
Yeah. So, you just fear for the integrity of the game. And I think that's why they're trying to crack down on some of these guys. And I think the majority of players that I've talked to, they just don't do it. You know what I mean? It's just Pandora's box. And they don't want to kind of get on somebody's radar. But, so some of these younger guys, they may not worry too much about, and then the consequences come behind it. So, I think the league is going to have more conversations in terms of monitoring, in terms of rules around this, and maybe just allow them to bet on other sports, but betting on football and just opening that up to some kind of legality and rules infraction. I just don't know if it's worth it in terms of what it brings to the table for a player.
No doubt. Like, what are you risking? And we know if it's, $5 million on a game, we know there's going to be a swing on the line in Vegas. So that kind of opens up eyes. Regardless, again, Lloyd Vance, our NFL Insider, on location covering the 2023 Black College Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Atlanta. All right. The other big news, well, a couple things. So it looks like, Panthers have decided they're going to go with the young gunslinger in Bryce Young. Frank Reich already made that decision. You got Dalton as the backup. I'm a little surprised he's saying right now, look, he's taking good reps, making the most of his opportunity, but you're naming a starter June 9th.
Yeah, Q, it is a no-brainer. Everyone knew when they drafted Bryce Young, they traded up to get him, and he was their guy. So Carolina's going to go with him. He's their new future, and hopefully he can build upon that. Obviously, they have been hurting for such a while since Cam Newton had retired, and they have not had that guy. And they want to have him come in right away and be their starter, have no questions around whether he's their guy or not. And
yeah,
it reminds me a lot being here in Atlanta. I remember when Matt Ryan started for the Falcons way back in 2008. He came right in as the established starter, and then that team kind of built from there. They actually made the playoffs that season, as well as the Baltimore Ravens, who had a rookie starter in Joe Flacco. So you can have success with a rookie quarterback. I know Brock Purdy stepped in last year late and did some good things for the Niners. So that they're trying to catch some lightning in a bottle and see if Young can help them build upon his great resume, bringing it over from Alabama.
Interesting you mentioned the 49ers with Lance, Purdy, and Sam Darnold on the roster. And now there's talk, well, I mean, Darnold might be playing himself in position to win that starting job in San Francisco. And look, the way their defense is constructed, I don't think you really have to ask too much. I mean, listen, Purdy played well last year prior to the injury in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. I just feel like if they name Darnold the starter, right, because Lance coming off injury, Purdy coming off injury, you're probably a 3-pick, Sam Darnold game away, having to turn around and go back to Purdy. And then where does that leave Trey Lance too? I mean, he he really might be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, because it's going to be interesting, and it is a really, is really Shanahan going to allow this to kind of open up as a true quarterback battle and see which one of these three guys is the best.
What do you think?
I still think if Purdy is healthy, as well as he played last year, and everybody talked about his understanding the playbook, and he was an extension of the coach on the field. I think he may be their guy. But you talk about Trey Lance, he's sitting there, and they brought him in, and he was their guy at one point, and he got injured. So, revolving door quarterback carousel for the 49ers. I think in the end, it will go with the guy that best and works in their system, and I think they believe in Brock Purdy, and he's going to be their guy. Maybe Trey Lance gets his opportunity in training camp, mini camps, to kind of show what he can do as Brock Purdy comes back from that elbow injury. But right now, I'd have to say it's Purdy's job to lose.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't put anything past these coaches because it's all about business decisions at the end of the day. Lloyd Vance joining us on a Friday edition of Back of Your Play with Q. Rich Quinones here, NFL writer.